Can you feel it? Our love for boxing, we cannot conceal it.
What's up, all my boxing fans and boxing bros? It's the Bro Hammer here, Bro Hammer TV, and it is fight week, man. Ward Kovalev 2. I'm so excited for this fight. The first fight was a classic. It was epic to me. High-speed chess match, boxing at its highest level. I loved every minute of it, every second of it, and really looking forward to Saturday to see the next fight. Just going to start with one of the things I took away from, or a few of the things I took away from the first fight. Ward, I'm not sure if it's the weight or he's getting a little older. He seemed a tad bit slower at light heavyweight, or maybe it was underestimated Kovalev's speed. It probably could have been a little bit of both. You know, his jab was reaching Ward before Ward's jab was reaching Kovalev. And I know Kovalev has those long arms, but you know, you have to throw him fast to get him at a target, especially somebody that's defensive like Ward. So, and I think that threw Ward off balance a little bit too. I believe that, and I'm not saying this is why Kovalev lost the first fight, or to the judges he lost the first fight, or that Andre Ward, you know, had a tough time with him, but it seemed like to me that he underestimated Kovalev's boxing ability, because usually, I mean, we all know, if you follow boxing, Andre Ward, when he steps into the ring, he is usually hands down the more superior boxer most of the time. I think we can all agree on that, but last November, it didn't look like he was the superior boxer as soon as they got in the ring. Kovalev was right there with him, skill for skill, in my opinion. The only edge I really gave to Ward is that he has a more sophisticated or better inside game than Kovalev. Kovalev likes to fight at range, keep you on the end of that jab, the snap and the power of his punches on the end of his punches. Where Ward, he likes to get a little rough, maybe some would even say dirty, and kind of bang and beat you up on the inside, which opens up his offense as well. And I think that also frustrates a lot of people. Another thing I also noticed from the first fight is that while some say that Ward was the one doing a lot of clinching and he was initiating the clinches all throughout the fight, actually, in my opinion, in the second half, it seemed that Kovalev was more so the one initiating the clinching, because Ward wanted to work on the inside, and Kovalev didn't want that to happen. Some people may say that is a Bush League tactic, but it's a legal tactic, and it's a smart tactic if inside fighting is not exactly your forte as a boxer, and you're facing a guy that wants to do that and fight on the inside. One of the things that you want to do in the ring is do what you do best, but at the same time, take away what your opponent does best. Kovalev initiating those clinches when they were on the inside, it was an attempt to stifle Ward from working on the inside. It didn't work too well, because he definitely, I think Kovalev, maybe with the conditioning aspect that they were talking about, he overtrained a little bit for the first fight. But I also think the body work that Andre Ward displayed pretty much after the fourth round really slowed Kovalev down and took some steam off of his punches. So it was a combination of both. Keys to victory. Basically for Kovalev, he needs to do what he did in the first half of the first fight. Use his jab. He has a really solid jab. He can box well. He can cut off the ring well. Use that jab. Don't necessarily follow Andre around. Keep him on the end of that jab and just use his advantages. He's the harder puncher, and I think he needs to stay at range and fight at range. He could certainly outbox Ward. I think we saw that. We saw that for the first 4 rounds. He didn't just beat him up, he was outboxing him as well. Some people may not agree with that, but I thought he was. He shouldn't necessarily look for the knockout early on. I think it's pretty hard to knock out guys at the elite level, at the very top, but he should just stick to that game plan of working behind that jab, not following Andre around. When he wants to fight on the inside, he needs to shut that down with the clinch. It is legal, guys, and it's a tactic that can be very useful for Kovalev in this fight. Now, for Ward, I would say he needs to do the opposite. He needs to do what he did in the second half of the fight. Pretty much from round 5 on, Ward took over with his inside work and his body work, and it slowed Kovalev down. He needs to utilize that earlier on in this fight, not try to fight at range with Kovalev. Kovalev has longer arms. He has deceptive speed, as we saw, and he can hurt Ward. I mean, he can hurt pretty much anybody at 175. So if I were Ward, I would make it a rough fight, a tough fight, basically the way it was in the second half of the first fight. Work the body, slow Kovalev down earlier, and then, you know, start hitting him with those left hooks. Andre was landing some beautiful left hooks in the mid to late rounds of the fight. And that's what he needs to do for the majority of this fight. So really, I mean, it's still a 50-50 fight. As we saw, it was close. The first one, it's still 50-50. I would give a slight edge to Ward just because he's the slightly more superior boxer. And from what I saw in the first fight, he was the one that made the adjustment. And Kovalev couldn't adjust after he made that adjustment. And usually that, to me, that's kind of a sign that a guy has a little more tools in the toolbox to work with. Now Kovalev's tools are pretty damn good. And could take out anybody, but I think Ward has a few more tricks as he showed in the second half of the fight. I think it may just be a continuation of the second half of the fight. I see Ward winning this by unanimous decision. It's still going to be a darn good fight. It's not going to be as close, in my opinion. It could be, but I don't think it's going to be as close as the first fight just because Ward has the data now. He knows what he did wrong, and he knows what he needs to do to beat Kovalev. So I see it probably 116, 112, maybe even 117, 111 Ward. Pretty competitive fight, but it's going to be a clear decision for Andre Ward this time. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Drop a comment in the comment section with who you picking for the fight, whether you agree or not, and kind of explain, you know, why you're picking Kovalev or Ward for the fight. All right, Brohammer signing out.